Just how extraordinary as an entrepreneur do you need to be for EB-1A classification? And more important, how do you convince USCIS? How do you convince an adjudicator who thinks a balance sheet is a yoga hack? Let's break down the EB-1A extraordinary ability analysis with you, an entrepreneur, in mind. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Stefan Akorli, and I'm here to do for you what so many people have done for me throughout the years, and that is to give important information that could maybe change a life or two. Now, this video about the EB-1A is just getting started, but if you already feel like you're wading through molasses in July, or if the idea of wrestling with immigration paperwork fills you with existential dread, then you'll find my contact information patiently waiting for you in the description. What is the EB-1A? Here's the gist. EB-1A, you at the pinnacle of your field. You need to prove it, need to also continue working in your field. No, you don't get permanent residence on approval of the EB-1A petition only, but it's a fast track there if your history is clean and no employers need it. There are two parts of the EB-1A extraordinary ability analysis. The initial part, unless you've received a major award like a Nobel Prize, involves a series of hoops. USCIS presents 10 criteria, these. 3 of which you need to satisfy to get to the second part of the EB-1A extraordinary ability analysis. Now for some scientists and researchers, establishing 3 out of 10 is quite easy. But for entrepreneurs, well, some of the criteria are not readily applicable. While scientists and researchers might pass the first step through articles, contributions, judging criteria, among others, many entrepreneurs will find a different path to be more realistic. A path that takes them through contributions, critical role, remuneration, published materials about them criteria, among others. I say among others because while most criteria are much more detailed and nuanced and rigorous than they appear at first glance, it's common for an entrepreneur with the help of a lawyer, like me, to be able to establish adequately that they satisfy other criteria, like this one, and this one, and this one. For entrepreneurs, satisfying 3 of 10 criteria is eminently doable. In part 2 of the EB-1 extraordinary ability analysis, USCIS decides if you, an entrepreneur, are really that great. Here you must show that you are among the small percentage at the top of your field and that you have sustained national or international acclaim. To show these things, you'd be wise to apply certain factors. Your argument to establish that you are at the top of your field may, applying factors, go something like this in summary. The evidence shows that you have developed proprietary technology that has been acquired by major industry players. The evidence shows that your innovations have received multiple patents that have been cited by companies like Google and Apple. It also shows that your ventures have been featured in mainstream or industry media outlets, recognizing you as a thought leader. Overall, your technological innovations, your company leadership roles, your industry recognition are commensurate with you being in the small percentage at the top of your field. Here you're applying some factors that USCIS weighs when evaluating whether or not you are at the top of your field. Here you're applying the proprietary technology development factor, the patent factor, and the media recognition factor, among others. There are many factors relevant to the analysis of whether you are at the top of your field. Others include factors related to leading or critical roles in companies with distinguished reputations, awards and recognition at industry conferences, interest from major companies in acquiring your technology, commercial success of your innovations, commercial success of your companies, high-profile speaking opportunities, venture capital investment amounts, selection for elite entrepreneurial programs, the impact of your technology on industry standards, and so on. To establish national or international acclaim, you may apply similar factors. For example, as an entrepreneur, you might argue to establish national or international acclaim something like this, in summary. The evidence shows you've been recognized through industry awards at the ABC Summit. You've been featured in publications like Time Magazine and Bloomberg. You've been invited to serve as a mentor at prestigious universities throughout the United States. Your company was listed among the fastest growing privately held companies in the United States according to Inc. magazine. And your technology over the last several years has attracted consistent acquisition interest from major players like Google. All of this demonstrates sustained national acclaim that you have received for your contributions, for your achievements. Here, the sustained aspect of of the acclaim, you may have noticed, is argued through references to dates. The national aspect of the acclaim is argued through references to geography, universities across the United States. Ultimately, it's the cumulative weight of the evidence across multiple factors that will show that you meet the top of the field requirement and the sustained national or international acclaim requirement. Now, my entrepreneur friend, you likely still have questions. How do you know you've shown enough to establish position at the top of the field? Questions. What is the field for me? Questions. What reference letters do I need? Many questions. How do I tie all this evidence together? I'm sure you have. How do I put everything together in a way that may be full of questions? In fact, how do you that's where a skilled immigration lawyer comes in. And at my law firm, we help entrepreneurs through the entire process, building strong cases for them. So if you're staring at a blank document while you're working on your EB-1A case, or you have a unique situation, or you're aiming for a swift process, or simply seeking expert legal guidance throughout the entire process, write to me. My contact information is in the description. Now, go subscribe because there will be more like this on the way.